Maybe you've felt something like this before. The doorbell rings unexpectedly. Someone wants to come in, have a chat, share a bit of their time. Yet deep down, you feel uneasy. A quiet tension rises in your chest, a strong urge to simply say no. It's not because you hate people or hold bitterness toward the world. It's just that, honestly, you don't find joy in having visitors. You like your calm surroundings, your peaceful routine, your own little rhythm that no one disturbs. You value the energy you protect each day. If this feels familiar, take a slow breath, because what we're about to explore is something few ever speak about openly. The deep, almost sacred discomfort felt by people who struggle when someone crosses into their personal space. And no, you're not rude, cold, or antisocial. According to the psychologist Carl Jung, this reaction reveals something much deeper about your inner world. Today, we'll look at 6 insights from Jung that explain why certain people simply dislike having visitors, and why that's not only normal, but may even reflect something valuable happening inside you. So stay with this till the end, because if you've ever felt guilty for wanting to be alone, you might discover that this desire has less to do with a flaw and more to do with your psychological growth. Before we continue, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Tell me, do you also feel uneasy when someone shows up uninvited at your door? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever wondered why some people seem alive and excited at social events, parties, or gatherings, while you, on the other hand, feel drained just imagining it? Maybe you do like conversations and enjoy certain people, but when it comes to letting someone enter your home, a strange discomfort appears. It feels as though their mere presence begins to pull the energy right out of you. There's an explanation for that, and it has more to do with your natural structure than your manners. Carl Jung, one of the greatest thinkers in psychology, was the first to popularize the 2 now famous ideas, introversion and extroversion. But this is not just about being shy or outgoing. Jung wasn't speaking about social skills or confidence, but about how a person's energy moves. Extroverts project their energy outward. They're fed by social interaction, by people, by activity. The outer world gives them a sense of aliveness. Introverts, however, are wired differently. Their energy moves inward. They recharge from silence, reflection, solitude, and depth. When an introverted person faces too much external stimulation, long conversations, surprise visits, background noise, constant activity, their inner system begins to shut down. Not because they're proud or antisocial, but because their psyche simply needs to recover. That's the essential point. Disliking visitors is not a social weakness. It's an expression of how your energy is organized. If you are introverted, and many people are without realizing it, then your home becomes more than a physical structure. It's a sacred container. It's the place where your mind and body reassemble after the noise of the world. When someone enters that space, even with kindness or love, they brush against invisible threads you've been carefully untangling all day. The simple presence of another person forces you to put on your social mask, the persona Jung spoke of. You start to perform, to engage, to respond, and in doing that, you move slightly away from your authentic self. That shift, though small, is draining. Jung said that introversion isn't something you choose, it's the natural disposition of the soul. Going against it brings exhaustion and inner conflict. People might say, oh, they're so reserved, or they just don't like others. But what most don't realize is that this isn't coldness, it's self-protection. It's an unconscious shield that your psyche raises to protect your inner balance. Jung described this dynamic using one of his most important concepts, the shadow. The shadow is that hidden part of yourself you rarely see. It quietly influences your emotions, your reactions, and your deepest discomforts. When someone steps into your home, you're not just opening a door, You're opening a space where your energy is pure but fragile. That's when the shadow begins to stir. It holds all the things you've pushed away, memories, fears, insecurities, and traits you were told to hide. Imagine someone coming over. You sit together, talking, and instead of relaxing, you feel restless. A strange unease rises from somewhere deep inside. Sometimes you can't even explain it. The sound of their voice, their presence, their energy, it might unconsciously touch something hidden inside you. Something you haven't faced yet. Something that lives in your shadow. Jung once said, "What you do not bring into consciousness will appear in your life as fate." Sometimes that fate shows up as discomfort in social settings. A friendly visit that suddenly feels like an invasion. A conversation that unexpectedly irritates you. A moment when you wish to be alone again. It's not arrogance. It's your unconscious protecting your boundaries, preserving your psychological order. But the shadow isn't only darkness. It also holds what's unrealized, your creativity, hidden strengths, deeper truths. When you live constantly on the surface, always polite, constantly engaging, you limit the space where your soul can breathe. So when you feel that intense need for solitude, when guests exhaust you, your shadow might be whispering, "Please, listen, you need silence, you need rest, you need yourself." Hearing and honoring that voice is not selfish, it's brave. Think about that moment when you return home after a long, tiring day. You close the door, remove your shoes, and breathe out in relief. You feel yourself again. In Jungian psychology, your home isn't only a building. It symbolizes your inner world, your soul. It's a mirror of your current emotional state. When someone enters, they're not just entering your living space, but stepping into something sacred, something symbolic. Jung believed symbols revealed truths about us that words cannot. Among those symbols, the house is one of the most powerful. It represents the self, the center of your being, where harmony and healing occur. Each room holds meaning. The bedroom represents intimacy, the living room your social personality, the kitchen your emotional nourishment, the basement your unconscious, the attic your higher thoughts. And then there's the front door, the thin boundary separating you from the outer world. When that boundary is crossed, even by someone friendly, your unconscious senses it. Something from outside is entering your inner field. It's not just their body or voice. It's their energy, filled with their emotions, thoughts, and stories. Your psyche feels that instantly, even before your mind does. That's why sometimes after guests leave, you feel heavy, tired, or even oddly anxious without knowing why. You've absorbed their emotional weight. Jung would say that what happens in those moments is a symbolic act, your inner world reacting to the intrusion of outer energy. It's not personal toward the visitor. It's your soul trying to maintain its natural order. Just as a sensitive person protects their senses, your psyche guards its sacred ground. To people who don't understand, it can look like isolation or indifference, but to you, it's peacekeeping, the quiet act of protecting your own balance. When you start to understand this, guilt fades. You realize that solitude is not emptiness, it's restoration. It's not rejection, it's respect for your energy, your rhythm, your psychological truth. Jung often emphasized that growth requires both contact and withdrawal. We meet the world, we learn, we give, and then we return inward to process, to integrate, to rediscover who we are beneath all the social layers. So if you find yourself hesitating to open the door when the bell rings, don't rush to call it antisocial. See it as a moment of awareness. Your psyche knows when you've reached your limit. Your home, in this symbolic sense, becomes your temple, a place where your energy reorganizes, where you reconnect with your own center. Visitors aren't the problem. Overexposure is. The world outside is always calling for your attention, but your inner world quietly asks for your presence. That gentle resistance you feel when someone tries to enter is not a wall, it's a boundary, a sign that your soul values peace over performance. There is beauty in that. Jung believed that only when we accept our natural tendencies, introversion, sensitivity, solitude, can we become whole. To pretend otherwise is to fragment ourselves. So next time someone rings the bell and you hesitate, smile inwardly. You are not strange. You are simply tuned to the language of your own psyche. You're listening to your inner compass, the same one Jung spent his life studying. The silent rhythm of the soul that knows when to open and when to rest. And if you happen to be a sensitive, introverted person, or if you're walking the path of individuation, that lifelong process of becoming who you truly are, then all of this can feel especially tiring. Jung never saw the home as just a wall separating you from the world. He believed it was a mirror of your inner life. When you feel calm and at ease in your home, it often means that something inside you is also at peace. But if every visit shakes that calmness, if the silence suddenly feels broken and the air becomes heavy, it might be your unconscious softly telling you, this soul is still being built. Not all doors are ready to be opened, and that's perfectly fine. To protect your home is to protect yourself. In Jung's depth psychology, honoring your limits isn't selfish. It's one of the first steps toward healing and wholeness. So if you've ever felt guilty for not wanting visitors or for craving solitude, remember this. You're not rejecting people. You're simply respecting the sacred space where your soul rests. Have you ever smiled politely while secretly wishing for silence? Made coffee, nodded, and talked while a quiet voice inside asked, when will this visit finally end? It feels unkind, doesn't it? You may even feel cold or ungrateful. But don't worry, Jung gives us the language to understand what's going on. He called it the persona, the mask we wear in the social world. It's the role we play, the version of ourselves that fits in, adapts, and interacts. This persona isn't false, it's necessary, but it's not your full self either. It's only a slice of who you are, and usually the most acceptable part. The problem appears when you have to keep wearing that mask even inside your own home, the very place meant for authenticity. For those with a strong persona, often introverted, sensitive, perceptive people, even a short visit can drain enormous amounts of energy. Suddenly, you're managing every detail, how you speak, how you sit, whether the light is too harsh or too dim, whether the dishes are visible. Every small thing demands psychic effort. Jung once wrote, "The persona is necessary, but when it takes the place of the soul cries out." And maybe that's exactly why you sometimes dread visitors. It's not about disliking people. It's about feeling forced to play a role when you want to simply exist, to breathe, to walk barefoot in silence, to stare out the window and just be. What's even sadder is that many people spend years living like this. Even in their own homes, they wear the mask. They welcome guests, smile warmly, make small talk, while inside, they're utterly exhausted, frustrated, and emotionally drained. But there's a freeing truth that Jung's psychology offers. You have the full right to be yourself in your own space. You can say no to a visit. You can turn down an invitation. You can be unavailable. Because each time you sacrifice your inner peace just to please others, you slowly abandon yourself. There are moments when solitude becomes a necessity, not a mood. You don't crave it out of sadness or drama. You crave it because your soul is asking for silence. Many people mistake this for coldness or isolation because we live in a culture that glorifies constant connection, being visible, active, surrounded. But Jung saw withdrawal as something sacred. To him, The impulse to pull away wasn't avoidance. It was the beginning of one of life's greatest journeys, individuation. Individuation means becoming who you truly are, not what society expects, not what your parents imagined, not the character you perform for approval, but your full, integrated self, light and dark, conscious and unconscious, wounded and whole. And this process doesn't unfold in noise. It happens in quiet, in solitude, in the stillness between two thoughts. That's why the discomfort you feel when people visit isn't a weakness. It's your soul guarding its sacred process. Your inner world needs silence to speak. The need to be alone is a signal, not a flaw. Jung said, "Loneliness does not come from having no people around you, but from being unable to express what truly matters." And really, what could be more vital than being able to listen to your own inner voice? But that can't happen in constant chatter or in the middle of conversations that skim the surface. Some chapters of life require conscious withdrawal, not to disappear, but to return more complete. You don't isolate to escape. You step back to understand. You turn away from the crowd, not because you dislike it, but because something deep inside is calling you home, home to your inner truth. While the outer world demands noise, presence, and performance, your inner world quietly asks, "Wait, stay a little longer, don't open the door yet, take care of me first." Maybe you felt that gentle relief while reading or listening, that subtle recognition, like an exhale of the soul, when someone finally describes something you've carried for years but couldn't name. And yes, it's real. That quiet discomfort around visitors, that restlessness you've labeled as weakness, is actually your psyche's way of protecting its balance. If Jung was sitting beside you now, with that calm, steady gaze he was known for, he would probably say, "You are not wrong for wanting to be alone. You are simply listening to the soul's voice, and that is rare." So let's look at 6 insights drawn from Jungian psychology that can help explain why some people prefer solitude, especially within their own homes. First, you're likely far more sensitive to the energy of spaces than you think. Jung believed the unconscious notices things that the conscious mind overlooks. Some people are deeply receptive to the unseen atmosphere around them. The tone in someone's voice, the emotion behind their eyes, the subtle tension in their silence. When another person enters your home, they don't come alone. They bring their worries, stories, and unresolved emotions with them. You can feel that. It shows up as heaviness, as inner restlessness, and that's why it's tiring. Second, your psyche needs space to breathe. Jung saw introversion not as avoidance, but as a natural process for keeping the soul in order. Time alone in quiet reflection helps you gather and realign your inner energy. But just one unexpected visit can throw this balance off. What others call laziness or moodiness is often your inner system gasping for recovery. Third, constant social contact can distance you from your true self. Jung said that the authentic self only comes forward in silence. Endless politeness, endless interaction, endless being on, all push you away from that center. It's not that you don't enjoy people, it's that being with others too long often requires setting your real self aside. Fourth, the simple presence of another person can awaken your shadow, the hidden part of you that carries your old fears, repressed feelings, and forgotten wounds. Sometimes all it takes is one comment, one tone, one glance from a visitor, and something inside you tightens. You feel uneasy, maybe even irritated, without knowing why. It's rarely about them. It's your own depths responding. It's never just about what people say or do to you. It's about what they awaken inside you, what they mirror back that you haven't yet faced. Sometimes, when someone triggers something in you, it's not an attack, but a reflection, a part of your own psyche that still needs to be understood, healed, and integrated. That discomfort you feel is often a message showing you where your work lies. This is the quiet beginning of self-awareness, the moment you start noticing patterns instead of reacting blindly to them. And maybe, without realizing it, this is where your transformation begins. That feeling of withdrawal you sometimes experience, the urge to retreat into silence, might not be a sign that something is wrong. It may be the sacred start of your individuation, what Carl Jung described as the process of becoming who you truly are. Individuation begins the moment you stop living only to please others and start listening deeply to your own inner voice. When you realize that you crave time alone, that you seek quiet and distance, it's not because you want to escape life. It's because you want to meet it more honestly, more deeply, more consciously. You begin to sense that silence is not emptiness, but space. Space where you can hear your own thoughts clearly, and with time, you start to trust that silence. You learn to say no without guilt, to close doors without apology, to set boundaries without feeling rude. Each time you refuse to betray yourself just to keep others comfortable, you reclaim a piece of your energy. You stop smiling when you're exhausted, stop offering kindness when it drains your spirit. You realize that pretending for the sake of harmony only leads to self-abandonment, and slowly you understand you can no longer live that way. It's time to honor your own soul. Imagine an old man walking alone at night, a lantern glowing softly in his hand. His beard is long, his pace steady, his presence calm. This is the timeless image of the hermit, an archetype that holds profound meaning in Jungian psychology. Jung said the hermit is not just a story figure, he is a symbol of an ancient energy that lives within every human being. He exists inside you too, even if you've never noticed. Your wish to stay home, to be alone, to not welcome visitors, this has more meaning than you think. The hermit represents the inner call for solitude, for wisdom, for self-knowledge. When you feel that pull to turn off your phone, to withdraw from the noise, you're not avoiding the world. You're answering a call to go inward, to hear what your soul is whispering. The hermit lives in silence because he knows that only in stillness can the brightest light appear. His solitude isn't empty. It's alive with discovery. This energy doesn't stand for loneliness or isolation. It's the courage to face your own inner world, your doubts, fears, memories, and dreams. By doing so, you begin to uncover your inner light, a light that no one else can give you. To find it, you need space that feels sacred, a retreat that allows your mind and heart to breathe. Sometimes that place is simply your home, the quiet room where you finally let go of the world's noise. If you often feel that deep longing for quiet, that irresistible desire not to host guests or engage, it might be your inner hermit calling you. He asks you to slow down, to return to yourself. He knows that in a world that moves too fast, silence is rebellion and rest is strength. Following this instinct is not withdrawal, it's an act of self-love. It's how you protect your energy and reconnect with what is truly yours. Jung believed that listening to this call is essential for both mental and emotional health. And he was right. The hermit's path is not weakness, it's resistance to the frantic pace of modern life, the endless pressure to be social, available, and endlessly on. Choosing solitude is choosing sanity in a noisy world. It's choosing your soul over social approval. So, the next time someone asks why you'd rather be alone, remember this inner figure holding the lantern within you. He walks slowly but purposefully, showing you that true light is born only when you've faced your own darkness. It's perfectly okay to crave silence, to need space to find yourself again. Have you ever noticed how powerful solitude can be when you embrace it rather than fight it? Being alone doesn't have to mean being lonely. It's about what you do with that aloneness. For Jung, the hermit was never a sad figure or a social failure. He was the guardian of wisdom. When you follow the hermit's quiet call, your solitude becomes a sacred journey. In that space, you start finding the answers that were always drowned out by noise. You begin to think clearly, feel honestly, and reflect deeply. And in doing so, your soul begins to heal. You start recognizing patterns, understanding your shadows, and reclaiming forgotten parts of yourself. With time, this path gives birth to a calm inner strength, a confidence that no longer depends on external validation. It's quiet but unshakable. Still, this path can be difficult. The world around you rewards constant busyness and endless connection. It glorifies activity but rarely honors reflection. Yet, the hermit reminds us, to truly offer something real to the world, you must first come home to yourself. Only then can your presence be genuine, your connections meaningful. So, when you say no to a visit, when you choose a quiet evening over a crowded room, you are not rejecting others. You are preparing to meet them later with more authenticity. The hermit teaches that solitude is not separation, it's preparation. Now that you recognize this energy within you, a new question arises. How do you balance solitude with connection? Jung taught that a full life requires both. A healthy person doesn't reject society, but doesn't lose themselves in it either. You must learn to create a dialogue between your inner and outer worlds. The hermit calls you inward, but life also calls you outward. The art lies in respecting both calls with awareness. Protect your quiet moments. Read, walk, meditate, or simply sit with yourself. Make time that belongs only to you, but also choose consciously when to engage. Spend time with people who understand you, who value depth, who respect your need for space. This balance may take practice, but once found, it feels like freedom. And the beautiful truth is, you don't have to explain this balance to anyone. You owe no justification for needing peace. Your soul knows what it needs, even when society doesn't understand. Jung once said that individuation means becoming true to yourself, even when the world demands otherwise. That's what you're doing when you honor your solitude. You are not withdrawing from life, you are aligning with it. You are not avoiding people. You are returning to yourself so you can meet them from a place of truth. In that balance, loneliness transforms into sacred renewal. Still, it's not always easy to hold this balance. The world is noisy, full of expectations. Sometimes your own inner critic may shame you for needing rest or quiet, but self-respect means knowing when to stop. It's not selfishness, it's care. Learn to notice your signals. When your body feels tired, your mind cluttered, or your mood heavy, it's your system asking for pause. Listen, cancel the plan, silence the phone, breathe. When you do speak, be clear and kind. You don't need to over-explain your choices. A simple, "I need time for myself today," is enough. Those who truly love you will understand, and those who don't will reveal themselves. Create spaces that protect your stillness. A corner in your room, a walk in the park, a morning ritual just for you. In those small moments, your inner hermit feels safe, seen, and alive. Don't rush yourself back into the noise. Allow rest to be sacred. And above all, be gentle with yourself. You are not meant to be constantly available or endlessly productive. You are allowed to simply exist, to breathe, to be. Honoring your longing for solitude is the same as honoring your soul. This is what Jung meant when he said that becoming whole is a lifelong journey. It begins the moment you stop betraying yourself for the comfort of others. Now perhaps something inside you has shifted, a small recognition, a quiet truth that feels familiar and warm. That's the beauty of Jung's wisdom. It reminds us that every soul is unique. There's no single way to live or love. There's only your way. If your way means choosing silence over noise, solitude over crowds, peace over performance, then that is perfectly valid. You are not strange for craving calm. You are simply in touch with your inner truth. Individuation, Jung said, means embracing every part of yourself, even those that the world fails to value. When you honor your need for retreat, you are honoring your wholeness. You don't need to fit anyone's idea of happiness. Your home, your quiet, your stillness, these are sacred grounds where your spirit renews itself and grows. In that quiet space, you find strength that is yours alone. If you take away one truth from this, let it be this: your way of being in the world is valid. Your love of silence is not a flaw, it's your soul's language, and it deserves respect, especially from you. We may have reached the end of this reflection, but in reality, your inner journey is only beginning. You've walked beside Jung's wisdom, met your inner hermit, and rediscovered the sacred power of solitude. Now, look inward with kindness. Know that your desire to be alone is not rejection, it's remembrance. Your boundaries are not barriers, they are expressions of care. And right there, in your own stillness, lies everything you've been seeking: clarity, peace, and the quiet courage to be completely yourself.